It's our honor to have Janet here, and today I'd like to just kind of sit back and talk about ractopamine from the States. They're going to import beef with ractopamine, and today in Taipei Times they said they're going to announce the names of the farmers who feed additive to the pigs, and they're going to make that public. And according to the law, which is called Personal Information Protection Act, and also Freedom of Government Information Act, it's legal to make their names public. But what I'm concerned is the timing. Because I'm just thinking they never really, during the past few years, really examined the beef from the States. But just before they pass the act to import U.S. beef, and they're doing this to the pig farmers. So it becomes very sensitive. What is your thought?
Well, I'm sure that these people don't want their names to be announced. I think maybe they're thinking, oh, if we announce the names, maybe it'll scare some people into not doing that. Yeah. Because it said in the article, if your pork is found to have ractopamine, then they will check 100% of your imports. But if it's not, then only check 5%. So maybe they're hoping that this will scare some people, but I think it's really not good for the farming industry in general. I mean, these people make their livings from doing that. If they're going to be putting ractopamine in pigs' food, I think they're going to do that regardless of what Taiwan does. It's going to affect Taiwan farmers definitely more than it is farmers that are, exporting their product from other countries, because those farmers are exporting their product not just to Taiwan but other countries that probably don't do that. So they're not really going to care. So it's really not going to change too much for them.
Right, and it's also ironic that they didn't really enforce the laws against beef with ractopamine.
Yeah.
And now suddenly the government becomes so efficient in implementing all these regulations. And I just think, they say the last defense is law. It's not morality. It doesn't seem moral to me that they are doing this to the farmers at this time. And also, they actually didn't do their job well in examining and having had them on market and having had people eat them, and suddenly they start to. This feels more to me like oppression.
Yeah, right. Well, it doesn't really make sense to say we're not going to ban ractopamine. We think it's fine, but at the same time, if the imports come in with it, then we're going to check them and we're going to announce the names. That doesn't sound like a government who's convinced that ractopamine isn't bad for you. If they're so convinced it isn't bad for you, then why do they need to announce the names? What difference does that really make? So it's kind of like they're saying one thing and they're doing another thing, and it's not really making sense.
Right, and the polls were showing also almost 80% of the population here in Taiwan are against beef with ractopamine, and I guess they're just a little out of their mind.
Yeah.
That they started checking the Taiwanese farmers, started checking other additives that are actually more toxic.
Right.
And they started to announce the shops, the brand names that sell them.
Yeah.
So it is a little pathetic, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just strange. It's just like, why don't you just not have ractopamine? Why don't you just check for these things in the first place and then just ban them?
Right, well, some people would say, sorry to interject, because some people would say it's naive for us to talk about this because then we actually are sacrificing the opportunity to enter TIFA. It's like a trade agreement.
That's right.
But you see, this only buys us a ticket,
Right.
and it doesn't guarantee TIFA, which would help us make more profit by export.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what TIFA is. I'm not aware of what is TIFA. So
TIFA is basically like it's like a trade agreement in the Pacific.
Oh, okay. It's like for exporting.
Yeah,
to Asia
yeah.
Pacific.
And then we're gonna have the same conditions that, for example, the Korea or Singaporeans and all these countries have. So we are actually more competitive.
Yeah. I mean, at one point in time, here you are, like with your ractopamine. At the other side of it, there we have avian bird flu that's not being announced. So are they really going to want to put us in TIFA if the government is concealing?
What's even more ridiculous is they actually use the how do you say, like the non-visa, like you can visit the U.S. without a visa,
right?
Which actually benefits the states, by having revenue from Taiwanese people.
That's right.
So it's, I mean, I've had a lot of friends saying, I'd rather pay, the visa fee. So, yeah, it's kind of a joke anyway.
I think the whole thing is just ridiculous. Like, you either have ractopamine or you don't. Don't just say like, oh, we're going to have it, but at the same time we're going to tell you the names. It's like some strange thing they want to do to appease the public when that's not what the public wants. The public wants no ractopamine. So why don't you just go with what they want? A
lot of the industries, like the steakhouses and even the traditional markets business are affected already.
Yeah.
So that affects our GDP already.
But I mean, they haven't had it for the past, like, how many years? 3 or 4 years, right?
Right.
So it really doesn't change anything. I mean, it's okay, better to get more imports coming in. But then if you're going to announce everything, I'm sure that, there's going to be lots of exporters from different countries that are going to be thinking, well, why even bother to ship it there if they're just going to announce our name to everybody? Nobody's going to want to buy our product.
Well, you say EU and China have done a lot in sort of experimenting whether ractopamine is harmful to human bodies, and Taiwan has not done enough research, and also we are not given enough time. To say, okay, I mean, there is even no strategizing against this shaming, basically. Event. So.
Right.
Well, anyway, that's our talk, and a lot of the legislators are fighting for us, and there are enough, like students and different types of groups protesting. So, yeah, it's just, I guess it's good that we at least express our opinions.
It's true, yeah, and it's not really about, I mean, it is about ractopamine, but it could be about anything. But I think it's more about the way that the government handles this sort of thing.
It's the whole mentality.
Yeah.
Okay. It's too much pressure from the states, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.